How's it going, everybody, and welcome to the mainnet channel. Today we're going to be talking about something that I've been pretty much holding on to for some time now. Don't worry, there's not going to be any kind of spoilers for either Persona 5 Rojo or Persona 5 Strikers. I won't be talking about the characters themselves or anything like that, but this discussion is regarding some of the characters. But again, I won't be doing anything spoilery or anything like that, so no worries about that. But as the title of the video says, I do want to talk about adults in Persona. And now I don't know, just gonna talk about adults in Persona in the new Persona, the new Persona, but also in the older Persona games such as Persona 1 and 2, which do have a wide variety of adults, especially Persona 2 that has a strong adult cast, as well as Catherine, which features mainly only adults in the game. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So one of the biggest things is I am an adult. I'm actually 29 years old, turning 30 this year in a few months. So I just keep finding it harder and harder for me to be able to relate to a lot of the settings when it comes to the school setting or the age and that kind of stuff. In fact, while I was streaming sometimes, one of the guys was like, every time that I play a Persona game, I just add 5 years to everybody so I don't feel so weird about it. And you know what? I was actually agreeing with that. It does feel a little weird sometimes, and it does feel a little disconnected to me when I'm playing the Persona games, especially because that age group is just no longer close to me at all. You know, it's like I'm almost like I haven't been in high school in like 10 years, you know, so actually more than 10 years, more like 12 years I guess at this point. So it's, in fact, it's been a long time, right? So at this point it's just so hard for me to be able to kind of feel that connection with the characters and the story and everything in a setting for the age. Of course, there's still some variations, so some things you can definitely relate to in any kind of age, but there are at the same time some things that kind of just feel more disconnected because of the age. At the same time, Persona and Atlus has had some really well-written adult characters lately, and I'm just saying lately because I can drag this from beginning again from Persona 2 and Persona 1, but I also want to just talk about the more recent Persona games, which is Persona 5 Rojo with Maruki, as well as with Persona 5 Strikers, which we just had a new character show up here. So overall, one of the biggest things is these characters are not only really relatable, but they're also really well written. Both of these adult characters just have a lot of interesting stuff, not just only as far as like their background, their story, which is obviously again really well written, but they're also really believable adults that I just feel like they have more mature problems and they have more things that just, it isn't just certain aspects of it, it just feels like the whole thing just feels like, in a sense, just more mature, more like the adult, the problems that they have are more relatable to something like myself. For example, Maruki has certain issues, and as you continue to learn about his story, you can really relate to a lot of the stuff. At least myself, I really related to him and his story and everything. On the other hand, you have Senkichi, the new character, who has a daughter at some point. I'm not gonna go into detail about it, but he's a parent, and there's like this interesting situation here. Now, I myself am not a parent, but my brother is, and I do see a lot of the stuff that he talks about, a lot of things happen in the game, and those kind of does relate to kind of just a major wider spectrum of the characters that you can write and how you can relate in some different aspects, as well as just being an adult. A lot of the things, for example, you're just more constrained as an adult for certain things that as a teenager there's just something different that are just work differently. Another example here again with Catherine is how interesting it is just to have an adult cast, because you can have more mature themes such as sex and drugs and alcohol, and it's like different stuff that you can't really discuss in a Persona game with a teenager cast, because it's just so weird, especially with sex and social content. Every time a character is sexualized, people just call it, it's like pedophilia and that kind of stuff. I'm not really wanting to go into detail on that aspect, but it just feels more normal, I guess you can say, if you have like an adult cast and everybody's a consenting adult and everybody's just in that sense. And not just that, but there are again things like drug abuse or alcohol. There are more things that you can really just discuss more. Again, not just psychological details, but also like other things that maybe younger audiences don't really deal with or anything like that. But I overall just really love the idea of having these new characters that are older. They have a different mentality and a different kind of mindset from obviously like in Persona 5 with the Phantom Tips and everything like that. It's just nice to have that different characters and just kind of have that relationship with each other, kind of how they see the world in a different light, and it does serve as a nice construct between the two different worlds, the adult world and the teenagers. They're just kind of growing up and kind of seeing the world in a different light. You can really see how different their mentalities and the different aspects because of the kind of, not just the upbringing, but also kind of like the generational gap and everything like that. There's just a little different stuff that I really like about the last two games, again, Persona 5 Royal Joint Strikers, because the adults are just really well written, really believable. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Anyway, that is pretty much in this video here today. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree, or if you have any additional comments to say about this. If you're new, please consider liking and subscribing, and then you have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys next time.